Hey guys, welcome back to Grab Your Brew. And if you're new, welcome. Please like and subscribe. It is Wednesday spooky story time. Now, Jody's not joining us this Wednesday, so we do have a guest, my bestie Carrie, and she's going to tell us about the time that she first went ghost hunting. And I do want to bear in mind that when we're leading up to the end of this, I know the end of the story, but I haven't heard the whole story. This will be the first time she's actually telling it because she loves me.
Yes.
But we're the kind of friends that we can go periods of time talking every day, or we can go months and then we just pick up the phone. And this is during one of those times that we weren't talking any day. But go ahead and tell us about your first ghost investigation.
All right. So, yeah, you have been asking me forever to tell you this story. And I will tell you that, I've been scared to death of telling the story and it giving power to whatever it was that, was following and scaring me. It,
But I think
that,
whatever it was didn't want us to tell this story because we've attempted this story 3 times now. This is our third time
absolutely.
recording.
Definitely, and I was trying to get in on my computer, so if the recording is a little wonky or whatever, I am on my phone, because the computer would not work. I could not log in. I tried over and over again, and something was saying, "No, you can't do this. No, you can't tell your
After we
story."
already, after we started the recording on that, guys, so she was prepared. We were logged in at the start of this. But this is
Yes.
third time lucky.
Yep. Um, so all right. Uh, just if I get a little emotional, this was very traumatic for me. This was probably the scariest time in my life. Um, I have been scared for years over this. It has been years since this happened. Back, okay, so we're going to go back a couple years. It was October. It was cold. And during that time, Leanne and I had been working together before in retirement setting. Um, I had gotten a separate job. We kind of went our separate ways because of life, but was always friends, of course, But you know how time passes by between people and stuff. So we didn't talk as often as we used to. But, so I was a little sensitive at that time. I think, like, everything was opening up. My brain was opening up. My energy was opening up more, especially being working at that retirement setting and being around Leanne, who, of course, herself is sensitive. Um, so I had met this guy, um, and we were talking, and as we were talking, and of course this was strictly platonic stuff, but I was telling him kind of our experiences, uh, and telling him what happened as we were working, in the retirement setting and stuff. And he was very curious. He just kept asking me questions over and over again. Um, he actually, you know, he started coming around more,
Yeah,
and asking me more about it, and
like it was fishing.
yes, yeah, absolutely, he's, like, fishing and stuff because he was like a vendor, like I had hired him to come do some things and we just were talking and stuff, so this dude, I didn't know him from whoever in the beginning, and then just got kinda closer as we were talking and telling stories. Well, come to find
Yeah.
out, he was a paranormal investigator, right? He did it professionally. He had a circle of friends, and I think he was feeling me out. It was, "Hey, I think I found someone who is open and who is having all these experiences and who's sensitive, and she's fresh, she's like fresh meat or whatever,
Yeah.
Um, let me try to get close to her and bring her along into one of our
Yeah, because at
investigations."
this point we'd both been very sensitive, but we'd never sought it out. It sought us out is the best way
Right.
to explain it, I'd
Yeah,
say.
exactly, exactly. I never like went out. Yeah, like you said, looking for it. I never went on like professional hunts or anything like that. Well, he brought this up. After he had showed me a bunch of evidence, he had gathered at different locations and stuff. He's like, look, in a couple weeks, we are going to this location. It's really cool. It's St. Albans in Virginia. I don't know if anyone's familiar, if anyone had ever looked that up. I was not. I was not familiar. He did tell me it was a sanitarium. Uh, and that's pretty much all I knew. I didn't want to look anything up. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go into this. I'm going to be fresh-minded. I don't want to have any preconceived notions about what I'm about to
Uh-huh.
do. I think I was very naive as well because, I didn't really know how to protect myself other than like prayers and stuff like that. I did have my cross. I am not super religious, but there is some religion there. Like, I believe in a higher power. I believe in angels and things. So I know that I have them on my side as well as, I felt protected because, I had family that had. Well, before we had left, because I agreed to go, and I had put my money in and stuff before I left, I had gotten some really bad news. Um, Devastating, frankly, and I probably should not have went. I was not in the right headspace. I was not prepared for what I was about to do. I did not know how I should have, but I did not know what an evil place this was, and I should have known because it
Yeah.
was a sanitarium, right? Like, you got people who are being hurt. You've got people not in the right headspace. You've got dangerous folks. Of course, there's going to be some good people, but there's going to be high emotions. Like
You
I
got
was
bad
just
on
not
both the staff and the patient side with a lot of those places too.
exactly.
There's
I
a reason
mean,
why the closed down ones are closed down.
absolutely. Absolutely. You got people who care, but then you got people who don't care. And
Uh,
some of those people working there probably was not in the right mind anyway. And just no one knew. But so I was not in a great headspace. You and I weren't talking as much as we were all the time because, like, I mean, before we talk every day and stuff, but life happens, kids happen, single parenting
we also
happens,
weren't
you got
working
school.
together too.
Exactly. Um, so I didn't tell you. I didn't tell you what was going on. I didn't tell you what was in my head. I didn't tell you what was going, like where I was headed. I didn't tell anybody except for my mom. I was like, this is where I'm going. Because, I had to go for the weekend and I was a single mom at that time. So my mom went ahead and watched my child. And so I had everything in place to be able to do this. We were going to stay overnight, right? Like, not
Uh-huh.
in the facility, but on the grounds of the facility. It was an older house that I'm not 100% sure what this house was used for, whether it was used for the
Probably the
person who ran it.
groundskeepers. A lot
Yeah,
of times those, even here, like big parks, big buildings and that, the staff like keep the grounds, get like as part of their salary is to live in those houses.
yeah, yeah. Like, could have been the director too. Like, because there's
Mm-hmm.
so many rooms. I don't know if um yeah, it's kind of what you were saying too. Anyway, it was separate from the facility, but it was on the ground. So I'm sure, well, they told me it was haunted as well. So it was like two in one. You get to investigate the place you're staying and the actual location. So this place was in Virginia. We all kind of took off in a van and was headed up there excited and stuff. We stopped and picked up because these locations had all ages of people, right? So there's children there, there's older folks there. So we picked up some cat balls that will flash and stuff when you touch it. I had my recorder, I had my camera. We picked up some toys, picked up some little cars that would move, we picked up a ball so that if the children wanted to play, maybe they would push it or whatever. Um, and it was right down the road from the sanitarium. Again, it was St. Albans. And when we got there, we drove up and it was like really eerie, and the place was huge. And,
Mm.
I mean, other than ghost hunts and stuff, it's not really open for business or anything. It's shut down. They did have a shop in there, like a gift shop or whatever. I did visit that while I was there. But so we got there. The place looked freaking creepy. I'm looking at the windows and stuff. I'm like, "Ooh, can I see something?" At that point, we went over to the house and we unpacked. We chose our rooms and stuff, and everyone is super excited. The energy is like, it's just going. It's just so energetic, all of us. Did find out that one of the people who were with us was a shaman, which bless her, bless her, bless her. She was kind of my saving grace while I was there. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that. Please keep in mind again, Leanne has not heard this story. I have not told this story to too many people. Actually, not really anyone in the full sense of the story, just pieces here and there because I've been so scared and this has been so traumatic for me. Because it is real. Like, evil is real, and until you see it, or you speak to it, or you see it, you don't know. You will
Yeah.
not know until it happens. And it's hard. It's
Let's
scary.
face it,
It's
horror movies come from somewhere because as humans, we're not really that imaginative.
yeah, yeah. So yeah. So we are at the house that we're staying at. It's beautiful. It's beautiful old house, 2-story. It's got the big old staircase, all that wonderful thing. Everyone picked their room, got settled. Energy was high. We went into the parlor and somebody had a ghost box. So they brought out the ghost box. And I just want you to keep in mind too, I'm with all new people. The only person I knew was this dude that I was with, or that invited me. Um,
You
so
don't know him too well either. It's just the passing conversations.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, I wanted to throw that out there. I was not dating this guy. There was nothing like that. It was just purely common interest. That was it. Hey, you like ghosts, I like ghosts. We're doing this. Why don't you come with us? This is an opportunity for you. I can give you this experience. That's all it was. And they had somebody who couldn't go, and I fit in. I paid my money and I went. So we're all in the parlor. Nobody really knows me. Didn't tell anyone my name at that point, just kind of quiet because I was a bit scared. This is all new to me.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone, and sometimes it takes me a little while to open up to folks. Um, I feel like I'm an an extrovert, but with
We're
introvert
introverted.
tendencies.
Yeah, we are introverted extroverts. We are extroverts with our people, but we're
Yes.
introverted when we first meet people.
Exactly. So that's why I'm the quiet little mouse and, sitting in the chair in the corner or whatever. Everyone's talking to this ghost box and we're getting responses back, left and right. Um, I have my recorder on too because I want to record this stuff to listen to it later. I just want to point that out about my recorder. Um, So as the ghost box is talking, people are asking questions. We're getting great answers coming back. Some folks, which it, it was their group, right? So they know each other. They started asking, "Hey, do you know my name?" And it would say their name, right? Like, it seemed like there was a few ghosts that were talking. I wanna say there was, like, 4. But I do believe and see things are popping in my head, there was, like, 7 that showed up, or it said 7
Oh.
were there in the room with us. I have again, I'll say, this was the scariest night of my life. So I've suppressed a lot of memories. I may have said this before, but I just want to keep repeating that I suppressed some things. So it will be a little jumbled and it will be kind of jumping all over the place as things are coming back to me. Um, but it became my turn and I was like, all right, so I know I haven't said my name to anyone in the room. This guy knows my name, but no one has said anything to me. even though, when you most meet people, hey, my name is da 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 da. We didn't do any of that. So when I say, hey, do you know my name? They're like, no. They just kept repeating no. And it was because no one has ever said my name. So it wasn't like, I guess in my head, I thought that all spirits knew things. Like they just inherently knew, like, I don't know, like
They do
their
know a
consciousness
lot of
was
stuff,
different.
right? Yeah, I think they have to know who you are to know your consciousness, because that's the problem with like the conversation we had before with Ouija boards, because you think you talk to somebody you love, but in reality, you'd probably talk to a demon because they know everything about your family too. But the power's in the name. They need to know your name.
Ah, well, that would make sense
Same as
because
we have to know their name to exercise them.
this is very true. This is true. Lots of power in that name, especially over demons. So yeah. So it didn't know my name. Well, questioning and all that stuff just kept going on. And it was great. That was a great warm up to what we were about to go into. Again, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I thought, hey, this is cool. This is novel. I it, you experience things, but until you get in it, you
It's a
haven't
whole nother
experienced
thing.
anything. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
whole crazy new environment, new world there. Um, so it got dark, and we all packed up. It was cold because it was October. I think I had said that before. So we're all bundled up and stuff, and we head over to the building and you walk in and they have like a staging area or a like a base area that was big. It looks like it may have been a cafeteria or something like that. But it had windows and stuff. It was your safe area where the lights were on, right? Once you get
Yeah.
past this door, which was crazy in itself. Like, I don't know. Have you ever seen those doors for like they're storm doors that are outside of old houses that you go into the cellar, right? It reminded me of that, except for it didn't have two. It was just one big old door. Anyway, so when it was my turn to go in, there was some other people there too, but I wasn't paying attention to them. Um, but during our like safety briefing and stuff, before we went through that door, she was sitting there telling us, hey, we've got recording equipment in here. I can see you if anything happens. If you're in trouble, I can tell, pretty darn sure they could hear us. Almost 100% sure they had the mics and stuff in there too, right? But they had the night vision cameras so they could see. So I felt a little better. I'm like, okay, but I'm still scared. This is my first time going into an actual haunted asylum where
Mm.
things have happened. Again, I knew no history at all because I didn't want to. I didn't want to have those preconceived notions. So we go in. And I'm going to jump around a little bit again. Just because that's how it's just going to pop into my brain. So I'm going to begin in the basement. So we went into the basement, and in the basement, there is a bowling alley. So it was only a couple of lanes, maybe 2 lanes, three at the most, but I think it was only like 2 lanes. Um, well, apparently, down the bowling alley at the end was you were supposed to see red eyes, right? Like there was
Why do they
something
have a
supposed to
bowling
be
alley
down
in an
there.
insane asylum?
I guess for like activities like if it's raining outside or I mean they got
Okay.
to keep them busy. They got to do
Seems a
something.
dangerous thing to do, though, because there's a lot of damage you could do with a bowling ball.
That's true. You
Sorry,
pick up a
my brain
pin.
thinks about all
Yeah.
the silly things.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's a great question. Why would they have I don't know. Um So we were down there. I didn't feel any different. It was a little creepy that there were dolls down there and there were like toys and stuff. So as we were going into the different rooms, because we teamed up, we had different like crews or whatever we would go in with and investigate with. So at this time, I think we had like 4 folks with us. Um, so one had been there before and knew the history and stuff, and they're like, "Yeah, okay, there's this demon or entity or whatever with the red eyes down here. And then right next to it was where all the dolls were, and there was supposed to be a little girl that was down there. So I took out, some of the toys that I had, and I was kind of playing with it. But I didn't feel weird at that point. That point of the house was fine to me. I walked down the bowling alley by myself. So we didn't get anything per se. No, at least I didn't get any weird feelings. So we moved to another part of the basement. Well, down there is the boiler room. And as we were going down the boiler room, which was not far from the bowling alley, if I'm remembering correctly, um, although it does seem like it was bigger than what I feel like it was, but at the time, just emotions are high and adrenaline and stuff. So we go into this boiler room and they say there was this guy named Smokey that was down there. I believe that was the entity's name or what they called it. Um, and you could leave cigarettes down there apparently. And this is awful. I'm sorry, but this is one of the stories that, there were some women who were taken down there and taken advantage of, in the
Yeah.
room. So, well, I will tell you, I was not scared one bit in that room. I felt extremely safe, extremely safe. Um, like I was so comfortable down there. I thought that it would be super, super scary. It was not to me. Others were weirded out. But I feel like, and I will give you a little history. I have I have lived through some times through domestic abuse, we'll say. So I feel like if anything, that those women were protecting me, because there was supposed to be a group of women, and while we were there, they had the obulus, um, and there were women there, like they were talking, and the shaman was with us too. So the shaman was getting some readings and stuff. So we knew they were there. It just they were not scary to me. Well, as we were
Yeah.
walking out, because I'm like, this guy ain't bothering me. Everything feels safe. It wasn't what I thought it would be. We start to walk out because everyone's like, okay, let's move on. Because I actually was standing in one of the areas where they said a lady had passed. Um, Again, no bad feelings at all. I felt warm and safe, and it was cold there. So we start walking out, and I kind of feel like I'm in a daze. Yeah, it's dark. Your senses are kind of off. You got this feeling of you got your adrenaline going, all these weird stories in your head, your creepy place, you're something that's supposed to have all this energy. Um, but I'm having conflicting feelings because I feel fine, but I know I'm supposed to be
Yeah.
scared. So I'm walking out and I start having people crowding around me. So everybody that was with us had their what are they, K2 meters, the one with the lights, the EMF
Yeah.
things. Okay, so they had those and they were all standing around me with their meters and they were going off. They'd move it, the lights would go down, it would bring it back to me again, and they would go nuts. I
That
have
was
nothing
similar
on
to
me.
that experience I had in the cave because the dude was like recording me and it shows like colors like heat signature around it. And
Mm-hmm.
whenever he put it on me, no matter where I was sitting, it was all around me, but I felt like something had its hand. Not invasive, was like, when someone puts their hands on your shoulders and lean
Yeah.
against you, that's what I felt on my back. And as soon as he did that, you could just see the light around me.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So, yeah. So these lights are going off and everyone's like, oh my gosh, and I don't, at this point, I'm not getting it, because
Because
I'm
your
not
first
processing.
experience. Yeah.
Right. Right. Like I have so much coming at me. I'm slow at processing everything at this point. There's just too much to process.
Yeah.
So I didn't think any more about that other than, oh my God, this is crazy. because I just remember all those lights coming at me. Everyone's putting their things near and then pulling it away and they're talking and stuff. But I still feel weird at like almost like I'm looking outside my body at me as they're
Yeah.
doing this, if that makes sense. So fast forward because I pretty much in my brain right now, my memory is blanked out. Now I can remember being upstairs. Upstairs, to get up there, there's this set of stairs from a hallway, and it was at the beginning of the house. As you come in the house, which they had all that boarded up, so you can't come in and out of that entrance. But that was the beginning of the house. That was the front of the house with the doors. Well, it opened up into like a hallway, goes off to the right, and then the stairs is a little bit to the right, but like in front of the doors. And then there's a hallway that goes in the back. I don't remember where that went, but we had to go up these stairs. Those stairs creeped me out. That area right there, that hallway that was straight across from the front doors going down, creeped me. That back hallway to the right, all in front of this stairway. You could look up. It was like stairs, landing, and that's um, the first level. And then
Mm.
I feel like it kept going up like more, but in my mind, I can only remember that first level. Like something is looking at me, like I did not like that area whatsoever.
Yeah.
But we went up there. And on one of the top floors, I don't remember which floor it was, there was a story about a guy that was a caretaker that I don't know if this man took advantage of one of the young men that had lived there before. I feel like that was the story, but I could have it wrong. So I just want y'all to know that, like, these are just stories. I cannot prove any of this stuff, right? Like, you may be able to look it up and you may find the truth there or a piece of the truth, but in my head, this is, what I'm remembering and what I'm being told. So we're in this guy's room and we had a name at that point. I don't remember what this guy's name was, but we're sitting in there. And again, I feel fine in this room. I kind of feel weird because I'm looking around and there's like, I don't know, it was just weird. There's like some plants and stuff. Like, why did they have plants up here? I don't know. It's very weird. Um, but it was a small room, so you could tell that's where a worker would have stayed. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and we kept calling out to that guy, asking it questions. Well, they started provoking. I don't remember everything that they were saying because, again, just
Rule
emotions were
number one of
high.
ghost hunting, do not provoke.
Yeah, let's not do that in a bad place, especially if it's regarding something that, taking advantage of a child allegedly, stuff like that that we should not be. I don't know. Stay away from that. Um, I was not provoking. They were. I'm sitting there holding my grandfather's medallion because I brought that with me. I have a ring on that I felt was for protection. I had some rocks in my pocket or gems that I felt was for protection. I'm holding on to those suckers um, as they're all doing this. But I didn't feel weird, but I could see things like outside of the room, and there were windows and stuff, um, like moving around, like shadows or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. But still, I wasn't scared. So we left that room, and I remember going through a restroom. Um, And then we got to an area that they did lobotomies in.
Mm.
That was very, very creepy. Um, that was very creepy. I You'd hear noises and stuff. I don't remember anything that stands out at that point. So now I'm gonna go fast forward to we were in the basement again. We went down to a different part of the basement. So this part of the basement is where, and this is awful, and I can't even imagine living during this time, but it was like showers and like there were bathtubs in these small rooms. I don't know if they did like ice baths or some kind of therapy treatment or something like
They
that.
did do the where they would don't that they okay, so there's a couple of them they would put them in ice baths for
Hmm.
therapy, and then there was the somewhere I would have to look it up, and I will add it to the video just to correct myself if I'm wrong, but they would drown them and resuscitate them.
Jesus. Oh, that's
Something to do
awful.
trying to reset the brain.
Yeah, that's horrible. Well, down there was scary. I remember being scared. There were some lockers, and I had my back against the lockers the whole time while everyone's standing around. We had a bigger group this time, and there was this other girl that they had brought that was a newbie like me. Well, I feel like they were using her more as bait than because I refuse to do things. Like, I'm like, I know
Yeah.
that's not safe. I'm not doing it. Like I had more of a will and a
She was just going with the
presence.
flow, trying to fit in.
Thank you. Yes, exactly. Well, they talked this girl into going into one of those rooms with the bathtub, getting in the bathtub and shutting the door. Like, this was like a closet sized room almost. And the bathtub was in there. She got in, they shut the door. And when she came out, like, I feel like she was yelling. I feel like she was yelling. In my head, she was yelling. But when she came out, she said that someone was whispering at her and something was playing with her hair. And I'm like, y'all are crazy. Like she was in there talking. I'm like, I don't know. I could not have done that. I would not have wanted to go in there myself. And they let her in
Not
there.
alone.
You're right. Not alone. I mean, we were on the other side of the door, but still, you're in there. Um, so that was scary. I'm still outside, with my back against the lockers and stuff, and I'm watching everyone do their thing. And all of a sudden, there was this most beautiful blue flash, the prettiest blue I have ever seen in my life, the brightest light, the brightest blue. I mean, it was just very quick, just this flash, blue, so beautiful. Well, whenever you're recording and stuff and you see something or you hear something, you usually tag it, right? So, or you ask others so you can validate your experience. So I asked, I said, did anyone see that blue flash? Did anyone see that? Like, oh my God, because that freaked me out, or not freaked me out because I felt very safe. But you're in the middle of darkness and then you get this blue flash, just pew. And
Yeah.
one of the girls was like, no, well, everyone said no. And then one of these girls is like, that's an angel. You have an angel with you right now. Well, thank God I did. Thank
Yeah.
God I did. I had somebody with me, and it could have been my grandfather. It could have been a my fiance's grandmother had passed, not but a couple months before we went there, which was not I had some other bad news too beyond that. I'm still grieving from the first. Uh, but she could have been there with me. I had something protecting me, and thank God I did. I had someone walking with me. The entire time I'm in there, I'm like, Lord, please walk with me. Like my angels walk with me. I'm a child of God. I mean, like I'm saying my religious feelings,
Yeah.
to protect me, my God to protect me. Um, and yeah, she goes, you have an angel with you. I'm like, oh my Lord. Because that place was scary. Like that down in
And that's
that
probably why
area.
you felt comfortable when everybody else didn't.
Yes, yes. Um, yes. So that was I'll never forget that flash. I will never forget that blue. A blue is my favorite color, but I have never seen a blue that blue. Even when I was in Alaska and I looked into the ocean and there are so many blue colors that you can see from the deep ocean, on the water and in the water, nothing will compare to this. So
Well, they
let's
do say
let's
the angels are basically what our brain can't comprehend or explain.
I mean, I needed someone with me, and they could have been protecting me from whatever was messing with that girl,
Mm-hmm.
because we will get to it later. Something was with that girl. Something was with that girl. Um, so let's flash forward again, uh, because that's how my memory is going. I'm remembering certain parts, but I have suppressed so much of the other parts. So now we are back in our safe space, because once you're in that energy, you get drained. They drain you, whether it's just you and your excitement and your adrenaline draining you, or if it's spirits draining you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have to take breaks. So we go back out again, and I'm sitting there, and people are going in and out and stuff. Well, I go back in because I wasn't going to go again. I was tired. It was really, really late at night. I'm feeling drained. Um, but they talked me into going back in. This time it's me. It's that guy that invited me, and it's that girl, the girl in the bathtub, right? That girl. So we go into that area where I told you I did not feel good. I did not feel comfortable at all. Um, we go up these stairs, but I remember them being, maybe we went up the regular stairs first, and then we were going down a hallway, and we were talking. Well, I started getting really like apprehensive and like feeling like something was following me, like something was behind me, because they put me in the back. I did not want to be in the back. I wanted that guy to be in the back and that
My
girl
rule
to
is I
be in the
don't go
front.
first and I don't go last.
Exactly. Don't ever go last. Um, so so I'm in the back, and we're talking, and I start to get anxious. I start getting really anxious. All of a sudden, I'm walking. In my mind's eye, I see this man. I see his face coming from the back of the hall and flying up towards me. And I feel the energy going up my back, like all the way up my back in my
Mm.
spine, to the point where, and I wish to God I would have done this, I wanted to turn around and be like, in Jesus' name, stop. Like, just push my energy back towards it and like knock it down. Like, that's 100%. This thing was coming at me, and it was flying at me, and it was coming with force to where I feel like it could have knocked me down. Like, it like, I felt it like not hit, but the energy
Yeah.
hit me and crawl up my back. I flipped out. I started screaming. I turned every color of, like, every shade of white and pale you could. All the blood drained out of my face, they said. Uh, Apparently the security was watching and saw it all, and she came running. Um, but at that point, I was trying to get out of there as quickly as possible. I don't know what happened to the other two. I was trying to get out, and I was doing everything I could to get out as quickly as I could. And that girl met me, the security guard met me in the hallway, and then like got me out quick. And I got out, and I'm just shaking. Like right now I'm shaking. So I'm shaking, and they're taking me back to sit me down. They're all getting me water. They're all like crowded around because they knew something had happened to me. All the while, I don't know where the other two went. Like, I felt like they came out after, like a ways after, because the others had me. That security guard had me. She was bringing me over. Thank God that shaman was there. That shaman, like, she's like, what did you see? What did you see? And I couldn't say anything. I could not tell them anything. Like, I'm just like, I don't want to do this. I'm not going back in there. I will not. It, you can't pay me to go in there. And she puts her hands on me, and she starts saying a prayer, and then they have holy water and then some kind of spray. Like, I don't know what she blessed, some things that she blessed. They were spraying it all over me, and then I started to feel like the fear kind of melting off of me and like stuff just melting off of me, like the energy. And I'm just sitting there and she's got my hand. She's just holding my hand. I'm like, I don't know why, but I feel really, really safe with you. And they're all like, well, yeah, she's a shaman. Of course you're going to feel safe with her. She's what can draw that energy away from you and stuff. And I'm not going back in. They tried to get me in. No, I'm not going. Okay. Well, people started coming out of that door. And Leanne, I don't know if I told you all this, but well, I know I didn't tell you all of it, but I don't know if I told you this part, but as they were coming out, one, they were greasy. They looked very greasy. Their features were off, and I saw an entity wrapped around each one of them as they came out that door, because they were all coming out at separate times, but when they came out, it was wrapped around them like smoke
Like a
with this
serpent
head.
type.
Exactly. With this head that was chawing on them. It was biting on them like it was eating their energy. And I'm watching this in horror. And I'm like, do you see that? Do you see that? And they're like, no. What are you seeing? What are you seeing? And then I just shut up because I'm seeing this on every one of these people that are coming out, and they're exhausted and they just look gross. You know, like it's not that they were gross people or dirty in any way. It was the energy that was on them, and they looked
Yeah.
drained and like just not good. So I'm still sitting there and still spraying this stuff on me as much as I can,
It's probably
and
anointing
saying,
oil.
probably they put it on the back of my neck and on my head and, sprayed the stuff everywhere on me. And I just was not going. But I remember those two people that I had first gone in with, that guy and that girl from the bathtub. They come out and apparently something happened to her too. I don't remember what happened to her because at that point, yes, I cared, but I did not care because I'm
You were
trying
dealing
to
with your
save
own
myself.
trauma.
Right. And for some dumb reason, they talked her into going back in. What are you doing? Like, this is okay. So I remember this is what they said. You need to face your fears.
Was
No,
that
I
them
don't.
talking or the demon on them?
We will get to that. We will get to that because you ain't never heard or seen or anything until you come with face to face with pure evil. So they talked her into going back. Well, she came back out and she was flipped out too, but of course. And then they talked me into, I think a couple of them still wanted to go back in or whatever, even though because they wanted to experience something that we had experienced or the way we had experienced it to see if they could prove things, whatever. Um, well, someone had talked me into going outside. And you know what? Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, it was that girl. I don't think anyone else went with us. I think it was just us two. Well, we went out and she smoked a cigarette and I looked at her and she did not look like her. Like she looked like her, but her eyes were not her and it started talking. And I say it because it was not her. It was not her. It was saying, "Are you scared?" And thank God in my head
That's the
that I
same
had my
reading I got
wits.
in the cave.
Did you?
You remember when I told you, like it said, are you scared? And I said, no, I'm not.
Okay, so yeah, that's what I said I said, no, no, I'm not. I'm not scared. And it just kept asking weird things or saying weird things to me. And I forget what else, but I was speaking to evil. There was no question in my mind that whatever attacked me, I was facing it in that girl. Like something had that girl anyway while we were there, and I had that protection, and I was talking to it. And then she smiled at me. The most evil, ugliest, nastiest, scariest smile I have ever seen that says just pure evil, and her eyes were just not her eyes. Well, I started freaking out, but I didn't want to show that I was
Yeah,
scared.
'cause they feed on it.
Exactly. So we go back in and everyone is starting to call it a night, right? So I'm flipping out in my head. did this just happen to me? Oh yeah, it just happened to me. This just all of this just happened. I'm trying to wrap my head around everything that was going on, all my feelings, all my senses, just everything. So I'm in and everyone's starting to pack up. I don't know where this guy came from or who this guy was, but this man came up to me as I was at one of the tables, and I think I was changing the batteries out of my camera. I was doing something. I just remember a battery. And this guy starts coming up to me, and I've never told anyone this before, but for the sake of all viewers, um, who think that it would be fun to do all this stuff and not be prepared and not, and just go into things willy-nilly. This is real. This is absolutely real. I was messing with, we're packing things up. Had something, I had a battery. I was doing something with the battery. I think I was changing my camera's battery or something. And this guy, I don't know where this guy came from. He was on the other side of the room. I don't think he was with us at all. I don't remember this man. He came up to me and he started saying, like, so he, he looked weird. And he started saying, you know, they, this is one of the scary parts. Well, the scariest part, they follow you home and they will attack the ones you love the most. And I said, why are you saying this to me? Get away from me. Why are you saying this to me? No, this is not true. Just get away from me. Like I started flipping out. Like, why are you talking to me? Like, who are you? Like, why are you saying this stuff to me? I don't know this man. Like, he just came up to me as I'm packing my stuff up and doing whatever I was doing, changing batteries or something. And they follow you home and they attack those that you love first. No, no, I don't believe that. Get away from me. Get away from me. So that pretty much paralyzed me, especially with like the news and stuff that I had before, because they tend to, evil entities attack the ones that are most vulnerable, right? Not the strong ones. And for him to say that to me, it threw me for a loop, and I was scared to death. What the heck did I just do? Like, what did I just open up? What have I done? Um, so he walks away, and I don't know, fast forward to being back at that house again, like where we were going to spend the night. Everyone was talking about sleeping arrangements. Well, guess what? I get put with the bathtub girl.
Oh
Um,
gosh.
I did not like that. I did not like that one bit, especially after what she had said to me and the entity was talking through her. I was scared to death. I begged them. I said, I will sleep on the couch. But because there were men and all the girls got doubled up, I had to be with her. I I did not want to be. I did not want to shut the lights off. I kept my light on. I gathered everything I had that was holy, that I felt like was going to protect me. And by the way, my ring broke. That ring in the beginning when I was telling everybody that I had a like a stone ring, uh, not onyx. It's the black stone that's supposed to purify and supposed to absorb energy until
Mm-hmm.
it's done. So I had one of those on that broke. Um, I had a box that I had brought with me that had my rocks in it and all things that were like sacred to me, like that I felt was going to help me. I stuck that box right between me and this girl. I slept like this. Actually, I didn't even sleep. I could not sleep. I kept hearing things in the hallway. I kept seeing things move. I kept seeing shadows. This girl scared the crap out of me. I didn't want near this girl. Like, I wouldn't talk to her. I didn't talk to her at all. The rest of the time, morning, night, during the whole ride, I wouldn't talk to this girl. I wouldn't talk to anyone as we were riding home anyway. But all night, I'm by a window. So luckily, she was by the door. I'm by a window. Our door is open, lights on. I got my box here. I'm praying, 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 praying for protection this whole time. And I'm just, I'm in torment. This whole, I'm tormented all night. Thank God I see light and we go home. The whole night I would not talk to anybody, or not night, the whole ride back I wouldn't talk to anybody. I didn't want to look at anybody. I definitely did not want to look at that man that brought me there. I was in the middle. She was in the back. All I could feel was this energy just protruding on me and like
Like
just
burning in the back of your head.
yeah, and suffocating me, like just surrounding me. And everything I had in me, I was pushing my energy out to protect myself, to to make a bubble. I was pretending I had this bubble around me. I was like seeing myself in a gold and a silver bubble with the light of heaven coming down on me as like a column, and just surrounding my body. And I was trying to go to a safe space this whole time. And when I got out, I didn't say a word to anybody when I got home. I didn't say goodbye to those people. It was just like, get out. I was so traumatized and I scared to death, just scared to death. I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't want to discuss it with anybody. I had crazy occurrences. I kept seeing that guy, that man that came at me's face at night coming at me. I had, I felt someone try to pull me off the bed, grab my arm, and try to pull me off the bed at night. I would hear voices in my living room. I would hear a little girl crying, "Mommy." And yes, I had a little girl, but it was not my daughter. It was not her. Um, and it was not my neighbors, because my neighbors were Hispanic, and the little girl didn't know any English at that time. She was four, but she didn't know English at that time, so she's not going to be yelling "Mommy," because yeah, the
Yeah.
walls are thin, but I had Hispanic neighbors actually on both sides of me, and one side didn't have kids, but the other side did, and they just had the little girl. I kept hearing that. um, I had gone to work. This was Monday or Tuesday after we went there, and I was flipping out. I started flipping out. I was freaking out. I saw shadows everywhere creeping in on me. I saw them following me to the point where I went to my boss and I started having a panic attack, and I was like, I have to go home. And he was like, I would like you to sit down. Just sit down. I don't want you going anywhere right now. You're not in a state where you can do anything. Do you have someone that can come get you? I don't want you driving, please. You're more than welcome to go home. Take you a sick day. Um, you know, but he was kind of like, what's going on here? But I was seeing these shadows coming towards me, and surrounding at work. And you've got them nice, like lights, the neon lights and stuff. So it's not like it was be dark. Um,
Yeah.
and so I went home, and I don't know when it was that you showed up. You showed up out of nowhere. You came to my house and you said, Carrie, I was told to come here because something was wrong with you. I knew something was wrong with you. And you gave me this huge hug, and I just started bawling. And you knew. You knew that's our connection. It was
I
so tight that
text
you knew.
you I text you when you're on the way home, and I don't know if you remember that, but I text you and I said you did something, and you
I
never responded.
did.
Because I kept hearing check on Barry, and I said you did something, and you never responded, and you didn't answer my call the next day, so I just showed up.
Yeah. And this is the first time I have told the whole story. This is the whole story. I didn't hold back.
Yeah, because I didn't
I'm
know
telling
the whole
you.
story. I just knew we needed to cleanse your house.
Yeah. This is the whole story, and no one has ever heard until all of y'all now the entire story of what happened that weekend, and then things that happened after. Things continued for quite a while, and it was so bad, I went to a Catholic priest, and I told him, I sat with him, and I said, look, do you think I'm crazy? He said, no, no, you're not crazy. I believe every word you're saying. Um, and he prayed over me, and I handed him some of my necklaces and my grandfather's necklace, and I had him bless them, and my brother's necklace, I had him bless, and he gave me some holy water and stuff. And I said, are you sure? Like, I spoke to evil. I saw it. I feel like I'm going crazy. She said, no, you're not. You're not crazy. And it felt good to tell somebody who believed me. Not that you didn't believe me, but I wouldn't tell you everything. Like, I would not
Yeah.
tell you. I told him because I thought I needed some big guns. I needed somebody to help me spiritually. I needed some spiritual protection for me and my family, and yeah, we saged the crap out of everything at the house and us. I mean, like, and it followed me for the longest time.
I
I
think it's
even went to a
because
psychic.
we were aiming for the house, and it wasn't the house, it was you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, I had the shaman do some work, some like I did the one person I did talk to was that shaman. I called her and she had to cut some cords for me.
Mhm.
Some ethereal cords, and she was trying to do some energy work from afar, and that helped some, but then she told me that that girl had something with her, and that the whole ride back, it was whispering to her and playing with her hair. So that makes me think of whatever was in that basement, that was in that bathtub, or
Possessed
in
her.
that bathroom with her, had her. Um, and something in that hallway was messing with me. Um,
Was any of this uploaded anywhere? Like, do these people have YouTube channels or something? We could find the videos of this.
so I don't know. I have suppressed the
Yeah.
name of whatever it was, and I deleted my entire recorder of everything that night because I didn't
I
want to
probably would have
hear
done the same.
anything. And um, I did find some pictures, but there was nothing on the pictures. Um, and that was on my camera, so I didn't delete my camera, uh, but I deleted the entire recording. I'm sure there is something out there somewhere that somebody has, but I didn't. I didn't want to keep it, and I had bought a T-shirt while I was there, and I threw it away. I never wore it. I didn't want anything from that house. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, that's my story.
Oh gosh. Well, here's a warning, guys. Again, don't walk into an investigation. Also, learn some stuff before you go.
Yeah.
Start off small. Don't go straight to demons.
Know what you're dealing with, do your research, know how to handle it. I walked in completely blind and completely trusting of those that I went with. Not that they're bad people in any way, you know, they're
You
researchers.
don't know where everybody's intention was.
Exactly.
An intention
Or,
on an investigation, and especially with paranormal, everything is energy. We are all
yeah,
molecules at the end of the day. And if you're manifesting a negativeness because you want this experience, you're going to affect the people around you.
yeah, yeah.
Well, that's it for us,
Sorry.
guys. Carrie will be jumping on another episode with us. So we do have another part of this that will come out another time, which was kind of us warming up to different stories leading up to this. So do stay tuned for that. Please like and subscribe and stay safe and stay safe out there, guys.
Know what you're getting into before you do it. Bye.
Yes. Bye.